Chess tips. This section contains several chess tips that are very useful when playing chess. Let's start with the rule of the square. Here first is a question for you. If it is white to move, can black's king catch white's pawn before it promotes or immediately take it if it does? Now I'm going to pause the video. Press resume when you have your answer. Pause. Now, more important than the actual answer, which is no, by the way, black cannot catch the pawn, is how you came up with your answer. Did you find yourself counting all of the squares one at a time? White moves here, black moves here, white here, black here, white moves here, black moves here, etc. until you determine the answer? There is a very easy and fast way to determine this answer, that being by using the rule of the square. You use this rule like this. Look at the square the pawn is about to move to, and from that square, count how many squares there are to the promotion square. Then count from the promotion square the same number of squares toward your opponent's king, and visualize the resulting square. If your opponent can enter that square on his or her move, they can catch your pawn. This method saves time and simplifies determining the fate of your pawn. Passed pawns on both sides. It should also be noted that if you get a passed pawn on both sides of the board, that your opponent's king quite simply cannot stop them both from reaching promotion. No matter which he chases, the other one can promote. Finally, since I've been discussing pawn tips, it should be noted that a pawn on the edge of the board on either the A or the H file is actually more difficult to promote, and as a result, easier to stop and force a draw. Because of this, it is useful to remember when exchanging pawns near the edge that it's better to end any exchange with your opponent having an edge pawn rather than yourself if you intend to draw him, and to avoid an edge pawn if you intend to promote. You must plan ahead when playing chess, and exchanging pawns incorrectly on the edge of the board could result with you drawing rather than winning. Drawing a line. As discussed in an earlier lesson, both a rook and a queen can actually draw an impassable line across the board to stop your opponent's king from leaving one side of the board. Keeping a king on one side can not only assist checkmating, but can also assist with a pawn promotion by simply keeping your opponent's king from reaching your promotion pawn. It should also be noted, though, that two bishops can also draw such a line diagonally. How to avoid a harassing knight. If your opponent is using a knight to repetitively check and harass your king, you should consider, if the position allows it that is, moving your king 2 squares away diagonally. It actually will take a knight 3 moves to once again check your king. It's useful to study how certain pieces move and interact with their opponent's pieces. This is one example. Knowing how to avoid a knight can come in handy quite often during a game. Another such interaction is that of a bishop holding a knight at bay. As seen here, white's bishop stops black's knight from advancing forward. A very simple but useful observation. For that matter, it should be noted that a queen can do the exact same thing. Since a queen moves exactly like a rook and a bishop combined, it can of course do all of the same maneuvers that both of those pieces can. Locking down your opponent's king. Okay, back to pawns yet again. An important tidbit in chess is the fact that you can lock your opponent's king to one area and make it impossible for him to move from that area without losing the game. That being through the use of 2 connected passed pawns. Should the king ever leave these pawns or step back even 1 square too far, the pawns can run and promote. This effectively locks your opponent's king down to guarding these pawns, leaving your own king free to roam and gobble up your opponent's pawns, and then simply promote on the other side of the board. There are many such circumstances and observations that you will learn over time as you develop your chess skills.